This video, brought to you by funding101.org, is part 2 of the video program focusing on how even small nonprofits can still get corporate sponsors for your events. Step 1 is to start close to home by asking your volunteers, board members, friends, and family if they know of business owners that they can connect you with. Once you've accomplished that goal, working with the same group of people, ask them if they would be willing to reach out to those business owners on behalf of your organization. If you have business cards, printed brochures, a website address that they can visit, these would all be helpful to provide to your volunteers when they visit those businesses. Once you've built your list of potential sponsors, both large and small, connect with those businesses via social media or telephone or email or in person at least once a week. Remember that business owners are busy people just like you. So if your first connection was by email, there's a possibility they would never even see it. This is part of the reason why you want to make sure you plan your events several months ahead so you'll have the time to connect repeatedly with potential sponsors without becoming a nuisance. If you wait to court sponsors until a few weeks before your event, you're going to have to connect with them daily or multiple times each day. And while that may get you a sponsor for this event, it will also label your organization as a pain in the neck, which will hinder your ability to get sponsors in the future. Planning your events several months ahead will avoid that problem entirely. As your list of sponsors begins to grow, make sure that you let all the new sponsors you're speaking with know who's already on board. The more sponsors you have on board, the more sponsors would be interested in joining. What it comes down to is that corporate sponsors, like you or I, are often afraid to try something new. And we are more likely to try it if we know that several other people have already done so successfully. When courting corporate sponsors, remember that you're running a marathon, not a sprint race. That means that even if the business owner says no to supporting your event this time around, don't get discouraged. In time, they could end up to be one of your greatest supporters, so be patient. Be sure you invite all the business owners you contacted to your event, especially those that didn't sponsor you this time around. Inviting them to the event is not only gracious, but it allows that future business sponsor to see your facility, speak with your staff, get to know how your organization operates, which very often is the reason why they didn't sponsor you at this event in the first place. Business owners are fearful of aligning themselves with organizations they don't know intimately. Personally inviting them to attend the event is a great way to get past that problem. Before, during, and after your event, make sure you treat your sponsors like kings. Remember, the goal of this exercise is to build long-term relationships with these sponsors, so make sure they know how grateful you are to have them on board. You should also note that any businesses who chose not to sponsor your event will be comforted to see how well you treat those companies who did sponsor your event. This is a great way to encourage those business owners who didn't sponsor this time around to come on board for the next event when they see how well you treat your sponsors. Funding 101 is dedicated to helping nonprofits thrive no matter what the economy's doing. Our program, Making Profits for Your Nonprofit, includes more than 100 tips and a baker's dozen of success principles that you can start using today to attract more donors, more volunteers, more business sponsors, more grant money, more media coverage, and a whole lot more. Best of all, 90% of all the tips and techniques we're sharing in the program won't cost you a dime to use. The bad news, though, is every one of those tips and techniques is already costing you a boatload of lost revenue until your organization starts using them. You deserve to be successful and to expand the good works that your organization does every day. Now, it's time to invest in your organization and learn some new techniques that will help you stop struggling and start thriving. Click on the Add to Cart button to get your program today. To read more tips on how small nonprofits can still get corporate sponsors for your events, follow the link provided on your screen. Your success always matters to us at funding101.org, so keep up the good work and watch for our next video.